It's Scrubs in the Morning. We are live in Nashville, Tennessee. It's, coming up here on the last part of the show, and we saved the best for last this morning. We're so excited. She's so cute, and she's so talented. We love Michelle Branch is with us. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Glad to have you up early in the morning.
Well, thank you.
We have a lot of plans for you this morning. I hope you can spend some time with us.
I can.
Because April has been working very hard on this. Have you ever played a Wii before?
You know, I got some practice. When I was on tour with Keith Urban, he had this huge video wall and a catwalk on stage, and the band and crew, all of us, we started playing Wii. We would bowl down the catwalk on his tour video screen.
So on the giant video screen?
I idea that we were doing it. So it was really fun.
What's your high score?
Oh gosh, I'm terrible at it, but it was fun.
Well, because
we did golf and we bowled.
Oh, okay. Well, what we're going to be doing here on our show, and we've been doing, is Wii bowling with our country celebrities, right?
Very nice.
And you're going to be competing against everybody else's high scores.
Okay.
And when we get done, we're going to crown one of the country stars as a champion of our bowling alley.
Who's your champion so far?
Well, we can't tell you that because it's all a big surprise at the end.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, we may have some ringers coming through here.
Okay.
Like Zach Brown may be coming through here, and he's a good bowler. I don't know if you knew this.
I didn't know this.
I didn't either. I told you so. But April has actually designed a character that looks just like you. Explain the character, April.
Yes, it's got the beautiful long brown hair and beautiful eyes, and I really like your bowling shoes. They're really ensemble today.
I think that should be my new album cover. Actually, it's very cute.
Now, and you've been doing a lot of morning shows this week going around. Have any of them asked you to do any Wii bowling yet?
No.
What's the weirdest thing?
It's very original.
Okay.
It's fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we didn't want to weird anybody out either, though.
No. How could whoever gets weirded out by Wii bowling?
Yeah, when somebody makes a character of them, that's not weird at all.
Well, no, the making of the character part. A little weird.
Yeah. I didn't do it.
I want you to be scared if one of the guys wanted you to touch their Wii, so that's all out there first.
We weren't going to go there. Okay, well, very cool. We're going to have you do some Wii bowling in just a little bit. But before we get to that, let's talk about the new single.
Yes.
And we're actually getting out to something brand new, right?
Yes, we have something brand new coming out early next year. The record's coming out next year. We're kind of, what I'm hoping the single is, and I have a feeling the single is, but is I wrangled Dwight Yoakam to sing a duet with me on the new record.
Oh my goodness.
I'm really hoping that's my vote for the next single. So you guys will just have to wait and see come January.
Do you think most people are past the whole thing that you were doing the pop scene for a while, and now they're finally like, oh yeah, Michelle, she's a country artist?
You know, it's weird. It depends on who you ask. There are a lot of my early fans who didn't get the records memo. They didn't know that was me. I've gone to markets buying groceries and hand my credit card over, and they go, "Oh, Michelle, where have you been? What happened to you? I haven't seen you since everywhere." I'm
right.
Like, I was in a country band called Records. They're like, "That was you?" So there are some people who just didn't get the memo. But I think for the most part, it's funny. I got a band together, and it has country instrumentation. We have a pedal steel player, a fiddle player, and when you hear my older songs played with this new configuration, the new band, the songs somehow managed to transform, and it almost sounds like some of them sound like they were intended to be country songs. So
right.
I think the thing is I've always focused on the writing and the songs, and that's what's carried through, and that's what really caught my attention with Nashville and country music.
How much writing do you think you do in the course of a year? I mean, is that nonstop? Is it always ongoing? Do you ever get writer's block? Like you're yeah, I want to write this song, but I don't know where I'm starting.
All the time. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and that has changed my writing completely because I will literally be across the house, and I'll have an idea, and I'll pick up my guitar, and she will hear it from across the house and come running and go, "Mama, what are you doing?" And then, of course, I end up putting the guitar down and playing with her. So I've found that now being a mom, I have to put some time aside when she's at school or wherever to work, because I can't really get much done when she's there because she just wants to help me out.
Well, you can certainly rewrite everywhere to something new for her, you
know.
Okay, she's everywhere. I don't know where she is now. She's hiding in the closet. Wonderful.
That's a good idea.
You guys came into the format so nicely with the transition of the records, and it's been. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, it's the music is really fits both formats so nicely. Now that you, like you said, you're a mom and that you're touring, how different is it touring as a single person and now touring as you know, a wife and
Well,
mom.
you've got an appendage.
The difference, you know, there's, when I first started touring, I was 16, 17 years old, and I was on the bus with 12 guys, which was hard, and they all acted like 4-year-olds, so there actually wasn't much of a difference. But
April, stop. Okay?
but it was hard because I was underage. I was on the bus with a bunch of guys who were older than me, and it was a little hard to get used to. And the bathrooms were filthy, always. But being on the road now, my husband's a bass player, and he has to play in the band whether he likes it or not.
Uh-huh.
And we take our daughter everywhere we go, and it just keeps everything in perspective. I will get off stage and, you know, have to go tuck her in or clean up some mess that she made. And I think that's the greatest thing about being a mother and doing what I do for a living is what I do for a living. This isn't reality. You get put in some situations where you're just like, where am I? Who does this ever happen to? And then, you know, wiping someone's nose brings you right back down to earth.
Well, and you know what, that brings up a good point too, because, you know, talking about where you're at in your career and your life right now, I mean, what would you say to these young girls that are, I mean, and this is where we're at with this industry right now, with just so many females that are just blowing up right now in the industry, and it's great for the industry.
Yeah.
But we're also talking about females that have very little life experience, like Taylor Swift, like Kelly Pickler, and there's going to come a day when they're going to want to get married and they're going to want to have kids. I mean, how would you tell them to deal with that?
Oh my gosh, I think everyone's different. I was always considered myself old-fashioned. I knew I wanted to get married young. I knew I wanted to have kids, and it was always a goal of mine. It happened. It caught us a little off guard when it happened, but I think everything happens for a reason, and it was the right time for it. And then I look at certain people who have waited a really long time. I remember when I was pregnant, running into Gwen Stefani, and she was like, "How did you know that it was the right time?" And this was before she had kids. And she's like, it's such a scary idea because if you keep saying, you know, oh, I'll do it when this is over, it'll never be the right time. And I think kids are one of those things that you can never plan it. It happens when it happens. And but it definitely brings a balance to my life. But I know it's not for everybody.
Well, we know that your transition into the country world has been a genuine transition. There's been some people that have tried to do this, other pop stars, other rock stars even, and it just hasn't worked out for a lot of other people. Why do you think that it hasn't worked out for some others and it worked out for you?
You know, Jess and I really didn't expect the records to be as successful as it was. We made the record ourselves, paid for the record ourselves. No one at the label, at my old label, which was the pop side, was supportive of it, and so we really jumped through hurdles to get the record finished. And I think because we had to overcome so much, you could really tell that it was that we had a passion for it. And I think that really just it felt genuine, and I think that carried through in the music. And so that's why I think, because I mean, everyone was warning me. They were like, "You're a pop star going to Nashville. They're probably going to hate you. Just warning you." And I was expecting, you know, to have to kind of pick my battles and prove myself. But I think the minute people heard the record, they knew that I genuinely wanted to be there and doing that music.
Well, and the country format is such a special format when it comes to the listeners too. I mean, you know, they say you got them from the cradle to the grave. You know, if you've got a country listener, they're yours for life.
So true. And people had told me that, and I never really understood it until I started spending time down here in Nashville, moved down here, and it's really like no other genre. They're so supportive, and so I couldn't be happier that I've been included and that people have opened their arms and welcomed me in.
We've got Michelle Branch, who's on the show this morning with us on Scrubs in the Morning, and will you hang out with us for a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to have her play live on the air coming up next. Wii Bowling with her Michelle Branch character. It's live. We're on. This is another beautiful morning in Nashville. Scrubs in the Morning. We'll be back after this.